What if you could never feel bored again? No waiting that feels endless. No silence you need to escape. Sounds perfect, but what if boredom is the spark behind everything you've ever achieved? Most people think boredom is useless, feels annoying, heavy, like time is moving slower than it should. But boredom isn't a mistake in your brain. It's a message. When you feel bored, your brain is quietly saying, "This isn't stimulating. This isn't meaningful. You need something more." Boredom is not laziness. It's dissatisfaction. And dissatisfaction is powerful. Think about it. If early humans were completely satisfied sitting in one place, would they explore new land? Would they invent tools? Would they search for better shelter? Probably not. Boredom creates restlessness, and restlessness creates progress, pushes you to learn a new skill, start a new project, change your environment, ask deeper questions. Even in modern life, boredom is often the beginning of growth. You get bored at a job, so you start dreaming of something bigger. You get bored with routine, so you search for purpose. You get bored creatively, so you experiment. Now imagine removing that feeling completely. No internal push. No sense that something is missing. No discomfort forcing you to act. Would humans still improve? Or would we slowly become comfortable with just enough? Because boredom may feel uncomfortable, but it might be the engine behind evolution. Now imagine a world where boredom simply doesn't exist. You're stuck in traffic, but you feel fine. You're waiting in a long line, still calm. You're sitting alone in silence, and there's no urge to reach for your phone. First, that sounds peaceful, almost ideal. No tension rising in your chest. No urge to escape the moment. No restless energy pushing you to move. But here's the psychological twist. Growth usually begins with discomfort. That mental itch you feel when bored? That's your brain craving stimulation. It's pushing you toward change. Without boredom, that push disappears. You might stay longer in routines that don't inspire you. Stay longer in jobs that don't challenge you. Stay longer in habits that don't improve you. Not because you're happy, but because you're never uncomfortable enough to leave. Boredom creates movement. It whispers, "This isn't enough." Without that whisper, life might feel smoother, but also slower, comfortable, but less ambitious. Because ambition often starts with dissatisfaction. If humans never felt bored, would we still chase bigger goals? Or would we settle into whatever is easy? Peaceful? Yes. But evolving? Maybe not. Here's something surprising. Boredom is deeply connected to creativity. When your brain isn't busy consuming something, it starts creating something. Think about when your best ideas appear. In the shower, on a quiet walk, staring out of a window, lying in bed doing nothing. Those moments often begin with boredom. Your mind has space, and when the brain has space, it starts wandering. This wandering activates a system called the default mode network. It's the part of your brain linked to imagination, self-reflection, and big-picture thinking. When you're constantly stimulated, this system stays quiet. But when you're bored, it turns on, connects ideas. It replays memories. It imagines possibilities. Now imagine a world without boredom. No mental wandering. No silence long enough for ideas to form. Your brain might stay calm, but it might also stay passive. Because creativity doesn't grow from constant satisfaction. It grows from tension, from the feeling that something is missing, from the urge to fill empty space with something new. If humans never felt bored, we might still function. We might still work. We might still live comfortably. But would we invent? Would we dream bigger? Or would we quietly stop searching for more? Because sometimes the blank moments in life are the birthplace of everything meaningful. Here's a question most people never ask. What gives life meaning? Achievement? Connection? Growth? All of those things often begin with one uncomfortable feeling: boredom. When something becomes repetitive, your brain starts resisting it. Days feel longer. Conversations feel predictable. Work feels mechanical. And that discomfort forces a powerful question. Is this really how I want to live? That question changes lives. People switch careers because of boredom. They start businesses because of boredom. They learn new skills because of boredom. They leave routines that feel empty. Boredom creates awareness. It highlights what no longer excites you. Now imagine never feeling that signal. You might stay in the same job for decades. Stay in the same habits. Live the same days on repeat. Not because you're fulfilled, but because nothing feels dull enough to push you away. Without boredom, life might feel smoother, less frustrating, but also less intentional, because meaning is often built through contrast. You recognize excitement because you felt dullness. You value progress because you felt stagnation. If humans never felt bored, would we still question our path? Or would we simply drift through life, comfortable but unchanged? Because sometimes boredom isn't telling you that life is empty. It's telling you that you're capable of more. We spend most of our lives trying to escape boredom. We scroll. We stream. We multitask. We fill every quiet second with noise. Silence makes us uncomfortable. Stillness feels strange. But what if boredom was never the enemy? What if it was a doorway? Boredom is the space between who you are and who you could become. It's the gap that makes you move. Without boredom, life might feel smoother, but it might also feel flatter. Because growth needs friction. Creativity needs space. Ambition needs dissatisfaction. Boredom is that quiet friction. It's the moment your brain says, "This can't be everything." And that sentence has built careers, started revolutions, created art, driven discoveries. If humans never felt boredom, we might feel comfortable more often. But comfort alone doesn't build greatness. It doesn't spark innovation. It doesn't push boundaries. It doesn't make you question your limits. Maybe boredom isn't a weakness. Maybe it's fuel. Fuel for curiosity. Fuel for change. Fuel for becoming more. So the real question isn't, what if humans never felt boredom? Is this, are we so busy escaping boredom that we're escaping our potential? Let's be honest. Most of us don't hate boredom. We hate what it reveals. Boredom is the moment when distractions fade, and you're left alone with your thoughts. Gone are the glowing screens in your face. Gone is the endless stream of content. Gone is the noise drowning out your thoughts. Just you. And sometimes that silence asks uncomfortable questions. Are you growing? Are you fulfilled? Is this really the life you want? If humans never felt boredom, we might never face those questions. We would stay comfortable, stay entertained, stay busy, but not necessarily fulfilled. Because boredom is not emptiness. It's awareness. It's the mind whispering, there's more. Without boredom, we might feel smoother days, but fewer breakthroughs, more comfort, but less transformation. So maybe boredom isn't a flaw in human design. Maybe it's a built-in alarm system, a quiet signal pushing you toward growth. And maybe the real danger isn't feeling bored. It's never feeling the need to change. Let's zoom out for a moment. Not just you, not just your life, but the entire world. What would society look like if humans never felt boredom? Repetition would go unquestioned. Routine would feel endlessly acceptable. The hunger for something new would fall silent. Factories would run the same way for decades. Jobs would stay unchanged. Habits would never feel stale. First, it sounds efficient, stable, predictable, but progress often begins with dissatisfaction. Most inventions were born because someone was tired of how things worked, tired of waiting, tired of struggling, tired of repeating the same old system. Boredom has quietly driven innovation. It whispers, there has to be a better way. Without boredom, that whisper disappears. Now think about creativity. Artists create because they feel something missing. Writers write because silence feels too heavy. Musicians experiment because repetition feels dull. Boredom creates tension, and tension creates art. If humans never felt bored, would we still explore new ideas? Or would we simply repeat what already works? Now let's go even deeper. Relationships. Think about long-term friendships, marriages, family bonds. Boredom sometimes creeps in, and that discomfort pushes people to reconnect, to communicate, to try something new together. Without boredom, relationships might feel smooth. But would they grow? Growth often starts with the feeling, "This feels stuck." Boredom exposes stagnation, and stagnation demands change. Take boredom away, and maybe stagnation becomes invisible. Now here's the psychological twist. The human brain adapts quickly. It gets used to pleasure, used to excitement, used to success. That's called hedonic adaptation. Even the most thrilling experiences eventually feel normal. Boredom is the signal that adaptation has happened. It's your brain saying, "This is no longer challenging." Without that signal, we might stay comfortable forever. But comfort does not build greatness. Comfort does not rewrite history. Comfort does not transform you. Almost every powerful change in your life began with discomfort. A job that felt draining. A routine that felt empty. A day that felt meaningless. That feeling pushed you. It forced reflection. It sparked action. Now imagine a world where that push never comes. People stay in the same mental patterns, the same habits, the same environment, because nothing feels dull enough to escape. The world would be calm, but slow, stable, but stagnant, peaceful, but unremarkable. And here's the most uncomfortable thought. Maybe boredom isn't a flaw in human psychology. Maybe it's a survival mechanism, an internal reset button, a quiet force that refuses to let you settle for less. When boredom appears, it's not attacking you. It's activating you. It's asking, are you growing or just existing? Without boredom, we might exist more comfortably, but we might grow less courageously. And maybe that's the trade-off. A life without boredom would be smoother, but a life with boredom creates explorers, creators, dreamers, rebels, and the version of you that refuses to stay the same. So maybe the real danger isn't boredom. Maybe the real danger is silencing the signal that pushes you to evolve.